If it is required, the Lockheed Martin F-35 Lightning II is a stealth multirole fighter that is capable of initiating a nuclear war. The Lockheed Martin F-35 Lightning II is a stealth multirole fighter that is capable of performing strike operations as well as air superiority missions. Additionally, it can give skills in the areas of intelligence management, surveillance, and reconnaissance, as well as electronic warfare. The United States Air Force, together with more than a dozen ally and partner nations, is now operating the Conventional Takeoff and Landing (CTOL) F-35A. This aircraft was created to replace the fleet of F-16 Fighting Falcons and A-10 Thunderbolt IAs, which are both getting on in years. With a wide range of weapons and bombs, it is capable of carrying out attacks from both the air and the ground. Additionally, the F-35A is capable of functioning as a tactical nuclear bomber, authorizing the F-35 to fly. During the inaugural full weapon system demonstration, which took place in 2021, a pair of Lightning II aircraft were able to successfully discharge B-6112 Joint Test Assemblies, JTAs. This marked the completion of the final flight test exercise of the nuclear design certification process. At the Tonopah Test Range in Nevada, the tests were designed to simulate the discharge of a tactical gravity nuclear weapon against a real-world target. After getting airborne, test pilots traveled to the Tonopah Test Range, where they unleashed two B-6112 JTAs from flight envelopes that were designed to be as realistic as possible. According to the announcement made by the Air Force at the time, this occurrence marked the first time that the single most representative B-6112 test asset was released from an operationally representative F-35A. Nellis Air Force Base in Nevada was the location of the 422nd and 59th Test and Evaluation Squadrons of the Air Combat Command. These squadrons were responsible for conducting the last flying test exercise needed for the aircraft to gain nuclear design certification. Following the completion of the tests, the Department of Defense, DoD, and the Department of Energy, DOE, examined the data to guarantee that the F-35A and B-6112 Joint Test Aircraft, JTAs, performed appropriately. An initiative that was a combined effort involving the Air Force Nuclear Weapons Center, the F-35 Joint Program Office, Sandia National Labs, and multiple staff directorates at Headquarters ACC was responsible for leading the test event. On the other hand, the Air Force pointed out that not all aircraft will become nuclear capable to support real-world missions after they have received complete certification. Those units that are assigned a nuclear mission will be the only ones to receive the appropriate hardware and staff to configure and maintain F-35s that are capable of nuclear weapons. It makes our potential adversaries think more about their game plan before launching it, Lieutenant Colonel Douglas A. Cable, the Deputy Director for Strategic Deterrence at Air Combat Command, said in an interview with Air Force magazine after the successful demonstration. It can get closer to, further inside a combat area that may otherwise be impossible for non-stealth assets. A tactical nuclear weapon, the B-6112. Prior gravity bombs, such as the B-61-3, 4, and 7, have been redesigned and combined into the B-6112, which is a refurbished version of the B-6112. As stated by the Air Force Times, it is capable of providing 4 different blast options that range from 0.3 to 50 kilotons. This is more than twice as much as the estimated yield of Fat Man, which was the heavier of the 2 nuclear bombs that the United States detonated on Japan in 1945. Although the United States had stated plans to construct 480 B-6112s between fiscal years 2022 and 2025 and phase out those with significantly greater yields, experts estimate that the United States currently possesses a total of 680 B-61s, including 230 for platforms that are not considered strategic, such as fighters. A further announcement was made by the Pentagon in October 2023, stating that the United States would pursue a modern derivative of the B-61 nuclear gravity bomb, which would be named the B-6113, under the condition that congressional authorization and appropriation were obtained. To manufacture the B-6113, the National Nuclear Security Administration, NSA, of the Department of Energy would be responsible. It would be able to be delivered by contemporary aircraft, possibly including the F-35A, which would improve the deterrent of adversaries and the assurance of allies and partners. This would be accomplished by providing the President of the United States with new options against particular military targets that are more difficult to hit and cover a larger area. The F-35 is a nuclear-capable aircraft. What makes it so? Several aircraft, including the F-15E Eagle, the F-16 Fighting Falcon, the B-2 Spirit, and the Panavia Tornado, have been certified to carry the B-6112, or they will be approved shortly. On the other hand, the F-35 might have some advantages over the other fighters as well as the bomber. Because the B-6112 can be transported within the internal bays of the F-35, the aircraft would be able to keep its stealth while still being able to strike a ground target with higher precision than the B-2. Warrior Maven's Chris Osborne made the following observation: "There is no doubt that a stealth bomber like the B-2 or B-21 or a large bomber with the capability to deliver nuclear weapons like the B-52 can establish the possibility of nuclear weapons. However, it is important to note that these aircraft would have difficulty maneuvering near-ground targets in highly contested threat areas. Additionally, it is important to note that a stealthy platform, such as a B-2, would rely on its stealth properties and altitude to avoid detection. However, it may lack the ability to vector and speed to introduce a lower-altitude tactical nuclear threat. When compared to other aircraft, the F-35 can use stealth, speed, and mobility to keep targets that would otherwise be inaccessible at risk of being attacked by a nuclear weapon." The use of nuclear weapons back in the United Kingdom. As of right now, there are around 150 B-61 nuclear gravity bombs that are under the hands of the United States of America stationed in Belgium, Germany, the Netherlands, Italy, and Turkey. The German government announced in the previous year that it would be replacing some of its older Tornado jets with the F-35A to fulfill the job of nuclear deterrence. As part of the nuclear deterrence system that NATO built during the Cold War, Berlin maintained planes that were capable of carrying atomic bombs from the United States, particularly those that were stationed in Germany. This was done even though Berlin did not own any nuclear weapons of its own. Reports began to circulate in August indicating that the United States Air Force will most likely hand over its nuclear weapons to the Royal Air Force RAF Lakenheath, which is located in Suffolk, England. The United States Air Force rented the facility until 2008, during which time it was used to store a total of 110 nuclear weapons from the United States. A deterrence mission to resist Russian aggression has already been carried out, and 2 squadrons of F-35 aircraft have already been deployed to the facility. Possibly, the possibility of tactical nuclear weapons being delivered by the most capable fighter in the world will be sufficient to give Moscow pause. The North Atlantic Treaty Organization, NATO, would be wise to take full advantage of the capabilities of the F-35A and invest in additional weapons and expertise to suppress and defeat Russian air defenses. This would be preferable to the establishment of an entirely new set of military systems in Europe. The operators of European F-35As should also consider whether or not they can adopt techniques that are comparable to the agile combat employment concept utilized by the United States Air Force. Hot refueling their fighter jets on the ground, for instance, might be a solution to the problem of extending the range of operations in locations that are contested. Last but not least, to prepare for the nuclear mission, NATO nations had to take into consideration the possibility of transporting F-35 airframes and pilots from Eastern Europe to air bases in Western Europe. The credibility of the nuclear sharing system would be further strengthened by all of these steps, which would ultimately lead to an increase in the level of deterrence. Thank you so much for watching. Please share your ideas and outcomes in the comment box below. Don't forget to like this video if you found it helpful and subscribe to our channel for more incredible videos like this one.